What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another game preview. I'm Zack Phillips, and today we're going to be taking a look at game number 16 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season. The second night of a back-to-back as they host the Montreal Canadiens, coming off of what was a pretty solid, quiet, comfortable win against the Detroit Red Wings last night. We will look ahead to the 8-5-2 Toronto Maple Leafs hosting the 4-8-2 Montreal Canadiens here tonight and give out a best bet, dig into what we're expecting from this game here tonight as well. So make sure to drop your predictions down in the comments below. Subscribe here to the channel if you have not done so already. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say, what your best bets are, all that kind of stuff. And we'll be back here later tonight breaking this one down with Nick Alberga. But until then, let's get into the lineup for tonight here. Let's start with the Toronto Maple Leafs first line. No changes here. We're going to see Nyes, Domi, and Marner stick together. That line has been really good. Mitch, back-to-back games that he has played now where he has stood out as a guy who has really stepped up and elevated his game in the absence of Austin Matthews, who obviously will not play yet again here tonight. This line has been pretty good. Domi, obviously, probably not a guy who's going to be consistently your first line center. He looked really good on the wing with Matthews last year, kind of in a more tucked away role. But as of right now, he has done an excellent job stepping up with the absence of Matthews into that first line center role. Marner, Nyes, those guys have done really well alongside of him, able to kind of create plays out of nothing, have been really good in the defensive zone, which has been a consistent knock of a guy like Max Domi. It hasn't really been a concern to this point, and hopefully with a rivalry night here tonight against Montreal Canadiens, a guy like Max Domi can bring this line into the fight, and you know Matthew Nyes will be up for the challenge. As for the second line, no changes there, and I don't think there should be. I talked about it on the post-game stream last night following the game against Detroit. Even when Matthews comes back, you obviously have to make some decisions. You have to make some adjustments. Who's going to go where? What person is going to fill in the third line center role? How are you going to sort out wingers? Who fits with who? All that kind of stuff. There's going to be questions. The first line is going to change because Matthews is going to slot back in there. But the line that I don't think should change is this second line. Pacioretty has looked incredible in a second line role, and credit to Nick, and hopefully it continues here tonight. We could talk with him yet again, but it was a couple of weeks ago he said, I don't think they're using Pacioretty right. He should be in a second line role. Well, it was like a game later, they put Pacioretty up onto the second line into the top six. He plays with JT, plays with Nylander, and all of a sudden the guy looks like he's back into his prime again. Obviously, he's not, and we'll see how long this lasts, and we'll see how long this burst of energy that he somehow seemed to have gotten can continue to last. I don't know if JT's sharing his amulets in the locker room, but those two older guys right now looking real good alongside William Nylander. That second line stays together tonight, and I think it should stay together for the foreseeable future. Third line, Bobby McMann, Pontus Holmberg, Nick Robertson. Look, I kind of not necessarily called them out yesterday, but presented a challenge to them. You have other guys who are coming back here. Connor Dewar skated last night in the pregame skate. There's no kind of certainty as to whether or not he will or will not get an opportunity to go here tonight against the Habs. He did his conditioning stint. He skates in pregame warmups last night. He's around the guys again. Who knows? Berube might say, screw it. We'll give him a chance, and he gets to go back in. Someone's got to come out. It's kind of between these three guys, McMann, Holmberg, Robertson, and Ryan Reeves, I think, who are going to kind of have to fight every single night to keep their job and stay in this lineup on a consistent basis. So can Connor Dewar take it from one of those guys? I think he's going to get a shot to come back in. Is one of these guys going to elevate their games, or are one of these guys going to elevate their games to a point that they cannot be taken out of the lineup? Last night, I thought they played a pretty good game. Post-game, they gave the belt to Nick Robertson, kind of indicating that they felt he played the most impressive of anybody. I talked about it, and I said, you know what? Ultimately, I probably wouldn't have given it to him. I would have given it to JT, Marner, or Stolars, who I thought played exceptional last night. But it's not like, okay, what the hell? Why did you give it to him? I thought he was pretty good last night. I thought he was contributing in other areas that weren't just offense. He obviously did score and have that goal taken back or called back on the goalie interference, but Again, you want to show your worth. You want to show that you can stay. You're going to get another opportunity tonight against a Habs team that, first of all, just blatantly is not very good. And second of all, is not going to have the depth to match up against you. You're a third line. You want to take advantage of another team's third and fourth lines and opportunities that you're going to get out there against them in. Tonight is the night to do so. You could have done it a little bit last night against Detroit. You did flex your muscle a little bit, obviously not offensively, but you made impacts elsewhere in the game. Tonight, you want to get on the board. You want to show Berube, you cannot take me out of this lineup. Show up tonight. You have a chance to do so. I expect a little bit more from them. I think they have it in them. That's why I'm asking of that from this group. So let's see what they're able to contribute here tonight. Fourth line, Lorentz, Kampf, Reeves. Again, Dewar is waiting in the wings. He's going to try to, or Berube's probably going to try to get him into a lineup at some point here in the near future before Matthews even comes back, I would assume. He's eligible to return on Tuesday. Who knows? Maybe he tries to get him in here tonight so you're not switching out two guys when Matthews comes back. Tonight could be that night. Is Ryan Reeves on the outside looking in? Potentially. But, this is also a game where you have Arbor Jackeye. And Berube hasn't been afraid to scratch some of these guys. He did sit David Kampf not too long ago. So who knows? Maybe Kampf comes out and Dewar goes in for him. I'm expecting something to happen. But as of right now, looking at the daily faceoff lines, no changes have been made. No changes have been announced. So there is a little bit of uncertainty when it comes to that. As of the forward group going up against this Habs team tonight, I feel pretty confident and comfortable with where they're at and the group that they have. I don't really kind of sit here and say, why is that guy with that guy? I think overall it is a pretty solid lineup and one that should be able to take it to the Montreal Canadiens here if they decide to show up and not be really leafy. I don't want to hear any of this nonsense about back-to-backs. Screw it. It's Hall of Fame weekend. You've got all these Hall of Famers in and around the city. There is a crazy buzz that's going on. Everyone's really excited and hyped up about these games, and there's just an atmosphere buzzing around down the streets of Toronto right now that just needs to percolate and come to life in the arena, on the ice. And it needs to happen for this Leafs team, not for the Montreal Canadiens. You want to show that you're one of the best teams in the league. You want to show that first game of the season was just a fluke. Show up tonight and flex your muscle on this Habs team that has not been very good and is going to be looking for an opportunity to show on national TV that they are not as bad as their record has indicated to start this season. Walk into the arena, show up from first puck drop, and absolutely thump the Habs for this full 60 minutes, and people will start to believe in you a little bit again. Because, in all honesty, this is a opportunity for this Leafs team to kind of show we are not the same team that you have come to expect us to be. Years past, I probably look at this game. I'm looking at Habs money lines. I'm looking at -1.5s on Habs, maybe -2.5s on Habs. Any other possible way that I could play this one because I just don't trust the Leafs. I'm staying away from that stuff here tonight. I want to know, is this a different team? And one of the areas that has been really different has been the defense. Defensively here for this Leafs team tonight, we're going to keep the same core that we've kept over the last little while. Morgan Rielly, Ekman-Larsson, McCabe, Tanev, Benoit, Timmins. No need to dig too much into it. I think the six have looked pretty good. Connor Timmins all of a sudden has just found this aspect of his game that I didn't even know that he had in him here under Berube. He showed this crazy burst of life offensively when he first got here to the team after Dubas traded for him. And then it kind of just dwindled off and we never really saw it again, to the point that I was looking at him being like, this is an expendable piece. He's making some money. Like, you got to shed some of this contract, roster spot, like any of that kind of stuff. If it comes down to it and you need to, just because he's not really doing anything. Berube comes here, basically pulls out the CPR panels and just stabs some life into him. And all of a sudden, Connor Timmins has looked pretty good on that bottom pair. Obviously, Hakanpää is going to be making his return at some point. I don't think he's as close as Dewar is. But right now, I don't see it being that easy to bump out Benoit or Timmins. Both of them, in my opinion, have looked pretty good. And in a game here tonight where it's going to be a little rough and tumble, Ekman-Larsson, Tanev, McCabe, Benoit, you've got those four guys back there. Ryan Reeves up on forward, who we'll see what happens. But like Lorentz as well, they're not going to get pushed around. Like, they're just not. And this defense has been very different than those that we've seen in years past. So, I mean, keeping these guys the same here tonight, I'm happy with and interested to see how it progresses further. So those are your defensive pairings for tonight. I'm obviously at this point we're just anticipating that it's going to be Joseph Woll who's going to be in net. Obviously confirmed there as of Daily Faceoff starting goalies. If you just go over and click on that tab, it's going to be Woll and Montembeault. Realistically, like, why would they put Stolars in? It's another incredible performance from him last night. Joseph Woll, you show up tonight and have a good game here, kid, and people are just going to feel like it's all good. We are back on the right track. So hopefully Joseph Woll shows up and just has another stud performance against this Habs team. I don't want to hear any garbage after this game about getting goalied. The Habs are not good. They're not good defensively. Their goaltending has not been great since the beginning of the season when we looked and said, you know what? Maybe Sam Montembeault is a guy who could win the Vezina or be number one goalie for Canada. It's really tailed off since the start of the season. Do not allow yourself to get goalied. And you know what? On the flip side, maybe it's a night that you just show up goaltending-wise for yourself and say, you ain't scoring anything against us because we are just going to take care of it from start to finish, and Joseph Woll is going to be on his A game. I'm hoping that at least heading into this game here tonight. But I mean, as far as things go with the whole roster, pretty happy overall. Leafs obviously extend their winning record without Matthews, 37-19-2 now without him. Hopefully make it 38-19-2 here tonight and just continue to truck along, no questions asked. Let's get to our best bet segment for tonight. Final thing before we wrap this one up, and our best bets are brought to you by Bet365. Proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. You can open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right. Best bet for tonight here. I'm going to head on over to the Bet365 page, and we are going to pull up the Leafs Habs game. Also, I mean, you want to talk about markets that are available, whatever you want to bet on, take a look at the side panel that's trending there just real quick. CFL, MLS, PGA, upcoming soccer, college basketball is in full swing. College football is on all day today. I'm partaking in betting on all that kind of stuff, and it's easy to do when you have Bet365 open as one of the screens that you've got up during the day. But we're going to head on over to the NHL game here, the NHL tab here tonight. Head over to the Habs and the Maple Leafs, and I'm going to player props like we always do. This one is simple. I will keep it short and easy for you guys. This second line has been rocking. I don't care that he scored 2 goals last night. I don't see a reason why he can't do it again here tonight. Prime time on the big stage against the Montreal Canadiens on the second night of a back-to-back. It's Johnny T, anytime goal, plus 200. We're going to bet $50 on this one, a half unit, to profit $100. Profit $100, $50 to profit 100 plus 200 Johnny T anytime goal scorer. We got the best price in market by far over at Bet365. This second line has been playing incredibly. The offensive generation with this line is being off the charts. Also looking at the fact that Johnny T is on the power play and not playing in that same role. He's playing a little bit of a higher slot role with Nyes being net front or at the top of the blue paint. Tavares is getting opportunities here now to tip pucks from higher out, to take shots and not just have to be a rebound guy, and also be kind of involved in some of the down low play as well. Like, he's being very versatile on this unit, and taking away Matthews takes away one of your focal points of shooter, which means that someone else has to do so. Tavares is a better shooter than Mitch Marner. So then by default, he becomes the second guy. It goes Willie now, Tavares as your second, and then it kind of filters out from there. So who's the guy you're going to want to get the puck into the slot? John Tavares. We saw him score on an opportunity like that on the power play yesterday. We're running it back with him here today. Plus 200, anytime goal. Johnny T is our best bet. It has not gone too great for us so far to start this season. We're obviously taking some swings on some of these guys. I mean, as of right now, for our record for the season, through 16 games, or 15 games, sorry, 16 here tonight, let me remind you, we have 5 wins and 11 losses. 16 bets, 5 wins and 11 losses, but we're only down 1.5 units. If you've been following along with the unit sizes and betting them responsibly, betting with what we're doing and the confidence levels we have here on the show, 5 wins, 11 losses, it's only 1.5. It does not matter really about the record at this point. It just matters about what the units are at and how we're doing in terms of money in our pocket. Johnny T plus 200 is a number I would expect to see in games against like the Boston Bruins and the Winnipeg Jets, not against the Montreal Canadiens, in which I think the Leafs, if they show up, can basically name their score and run the Habs out of the building. That is, mind you, if the Leafs decide to show up. So Johnny T, anytime goal plus 200, $50, profits you 100. That is our best bet for tonight. If you did enjoy the game preview, the lineup breakdown, and the best bet, hit that like button, subscribe here, the Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube. Make sure to drop a comment below your predictions for tonight's game. I want to know, what's the score? Who do you think is scoring? Are the Leafs winning this, losing this? Is this the same old Leafs as always? Or do they show up here tonight and get it done against this Habs team? I can't wait to read all the comments. We'll see you guys back here following tonight's game against the Habs, game 16 of the season. And I will be joined by none other than the Golden Muzzy. Maybe we do mustache comparing on the show here tonight, and you guys can let us know in the comments, in the live chat, who you think's is best. So thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. We'll see you guys tonight. As always, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.